For generations, the United States and Canada have been more than just neighbors. They've been partners, friends, and even family. Their relationship is woven into the very fabric of North America, built on shared values, mutual respect, and a history of standing side by side through triumphs and challenges alike. From bustling border towns to quiet rural crossings, the connection between these two nations has always felt personal, almost familial, to millions of people on both sides. Their border, the world's longest undefended, has long symbolized a trust and openness envied by the world. It's a line that, for most of its history, brought people together rather than kept them apart, a testament to the peace and goodwill that defined their partnership. The US often played the bold, adventurous younger sibling, while Canada was the calm, steady elder, yet their differences only strengthened their bond, allowing them to learn from each other and face the world as a united front. Their economies became deeply intertwined, from auto parts to lumber, agriculture to technology, creating millions of jobs and fostering seamless trade. Every day, goods, services, and ideas flowed freely, enriching communities and building prosperity on both sides. When disaster struck, they stood together, like after 9/11s, when Canadians opened their homes and hearts to thousands of stranded Americans. In moments of crisis, the border seemed to disappear, replaced by compassion and solidarity. This wasn't just politics, it was a deep, enduring connection, one that touched everyday lives, shaped communities, and created memories that spanned generations. But in early 2025, that foundation was shaken in ways no one expected. Tensions rose and uncertainty crept in, leaving many to wonder what would become of this remarkable friendship. The world would soon witness just how fragile even the strongest friendships can be, and how quickly the familiar can become uncertain when trust is put to the test. The first crack in the relationship didn't come from a formal announcement or a carefully worded press release, but from a barrage of late-night tweets that caught everyone off guard, spreading confusion and concern in real time. In early 2025, President Trump's social media attacks grew more frequent and pointed, accusing Canada of unfair trade practices and even threatening its sovereignty in ways that felt unprecedented. He began referring to Prime Minister Trudeau as Governor Trudeau, a deliberate slight that undermined Canada's independence and dignity on the world stage. At rallies and press conferences, Trump joked about annexing Canada, drawing laughter from some but leaving many others uneasy about his true intentions. Canadians were stunned. What had once been friendly teasing between neighbors now felt like open hostility, and the tone had shifted from playful to menacing almost overnight. The jokes about annexation hit a nerve, stirring up old anxieties about American dominance and reviving memories of past tensions that many thought were long buried. Trust eroded with every tweet, and the world's friendliest border suddenly felt less secure, as if invisible lines were being redrawn with every new accusation. Online, memes about a US invasion went viral, spreading rapidly across social media. What started as jokes soon took on a darker edge, as the humor was edged with real fear and uncertainty about the future. The relationship's foundation was being dismantled, not by armies or politicians in closed rooms but by words, careless, provocative, and impossible to ignore. The era of easy camaraderie was over, replaced by a new uncertainty that left both nations wondering what would come next. Words soon turned into action. In March 2025, the US slapped steep tariffs on Canadian goods, citing dubious grievances. Canadian industries, lumber, aluminum, even maple syrup, were thrown into crisis. The auto industry, a symbol of cross-border cooperation, ground to a halt. Canada hit back with targeted tariffs on US products, signaling it wouldn't be bullied. The trade war rippled through border towns, devastating businesses and families. What was once a seamless partnership became a battleground. The economic fallout was immediate and personal, shattering lives on both sides. The border, once a symbol of unity, now marked a painful divide. The crisis sparked a wave of Canadian pride and unity, unlike anything seen in recent memory. Across the country, people from all walks of life came together, setting aside their differences to stand as one. Streets filled with red and white, and the maple leaf became a symbol of resilience and hope. A snap election was called, quickly turning into a referendum on the nation's relationship with the United States. Trump's interference, intended to sway the outcome, only served to strengthen Canadian resolve. Politicians from all parties found themselves united in their opposition to foreign meddling, and the public responded with record voter turnout. Social media buzzed with #CanadaStrong, as Canadians rallied online and offline. Calls to buy Canadian products and support local businesses echoed across every platform, fueling a renewed sense of economic patriotism. The new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, stood before the nation and declared, "America wants our land, our resources, our country. That will never ever happen." His words electrified the country, becoming a rallying cry for millions. Canadians rallied around their identity, refusing to be intimidated by threats or pressure. Public squares filled with peaceful demonstrations, and the spirit of defiance was felt in every corner of the nation. The political and economic pressure meant to divide instead united the country. People of all backgrounds joined hands, determined to protect their way of life and support one another through uncertainty. Regional differences faded as Canadians stood together, forging new bonds between provinces and communities. The sense of national unity grew stronger with each passing day. The crisis forged a new sense of purpose and independence, inspiring Canadians to look to the future with determination and hope. The nation's spirit was unbreakable. Canada found its voice on the world stage, determined to chart its own course and assert its values. The world watched as Canada stepped forward with confidence and clarity. The friendship with the US would never be the same, but Canada had discovered a new strength within itself, one that would shape its destiny for generations to come. The fallout wasn't just political, it was deeply personal. Cross-border travel plummeted as Canadians felt unwelcome in the US. Family gatherings became fraught, and friendships strained under the weight of political tension. Border towns, once thriving on shared commerce and culture, faced suspicion and hardship. The easy trust that defined generations was gone, replaced by caution and regret. The crisis left scars on communities and families, eroding goodwill built over centuries. Words from leaders had inflicted wounds that policies alone couldn't heal. The lesson was clear: international relations are about people, not just governments. The pain of 2025 would linger long after the headlines faded. Yet even in crisis, quiet diplomacy persisted. Leaders met behind closed doors, seeking to prevent total collapse. Veteran diplomats reminded both sides, this Trumpiness too shall pass. The deep ties, economic, cultural, and personal, could not be erased overnight. Shared values and history offered hope for reconciliation. The US-Canada bond had survived wars and disagreements before. The path to healing would be long, but the foundation remained. In the end, the story of 2025 was a warning, and a reminder that true friendship, though fragile, can endure.